multi-billion-dollar stadiums. Tens of thousands of fans arrive every week. Bright lights, concerts, and world-class games. Yet only a few steps from these places, rows of tents stand as homes for people who have lost their housing. This kind of scene does not happen in just one city. It can be found across the United States. So how can the most iconic stadiums and locations in the world's largest economy exist side by side with a homelessness crisis? SoFi Stadium is the most expensive stadium ever built in the world. With a cost of more than $5 billion, it is home to the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers, while also being chosen as a venue for the Super Bowl, the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. But behind that grandeur, there is another side rarely shown to visitors. For years, areas around the stadium access routes, especially beneath the Interstate 405 overpass and along Century Boulevard, have been lined with dozens of homeless tents. In the middle of a revitalization project that has turned Inglewood into a multi-billion-dollar entertainment district, the housing crisis and high cost of living remain real challenges for many residents. This contrast makes SoFi Stadium not only a symbol of American sports luxury, but also a reminder that a city's progress is not always felt by everyone. Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. For many sports fans, this stadium has witnessed the history of several legendary teams. But the trip to the stadium through Hagenberger Road and Interstate 880 often reveals another side of Oakland that rarely appears in travel brochures. Beneath overpasses, on empty lots, and along industrial corridors in East Oakland, rows of tents and RVs occupied by unhoused people have been a common sight for years. One of the main causes is the housing affordability crisis in the Bay Area. Although home prices in Oakland have started to decline, the median sale price still sits around $875,000, while average rent reaches about $2,300 per month, numbers still far beyond the reach of many low-income workers. Even after the government cleared several encampments, many residents simply moved to other locations because they still had no permanent housing. Only a few blocks from this stadium, areas around the South Platte River, the Ballpark District, and several underbridge corridors were once home to some of Denver's largest encampments. Hundreds of tents stood along river paths and empty lots downtown, showing how Denver's economic growth has not always been matched by housing affordability. In recent years, home prices in Denver have remained around $550,000, while average rent has approached $1,900 per month. Analysts estimate that a person would need to earn more than $155,000 per year to afford a median-priced home in the Denver metropolitan area. Petco Park in San Diego, California. Only a few blocks from one of the most beautiful baseball stadiums in America lies East Village, an area that for years has been the center of San Diego's homelessness crisis. Although the government regularly clears encampments and expands shelter capacity, many unhoused people still return to East Village because they have no permanent housing. Sidewalks, underpasses, and areas around the Neil Good Day Center and Father Joe's villages have been filled with emergency tents, as many unhoused people seek access to food, shelter, and health services. Median home prices in San Diego have now passed $1 million, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is around $2,700 to $3,000 per month, making it one of the most expensive cities in the United States. For thousands of low-income residents, those costs are impossible to afford. It is hard to find another area in America more closely associated with homelessness than Skid Row. Across an area of about 50 blocks, thousands of people live in tents, on sidewalks, or in emergency shelters, making it one of the largest concentrations of unhoused people in the country. But the root of the problem is much larger. In Los Angeles, median home prices are now around $1 million, while rent for a one-bedroom apartment has generally passed $2,500 per month. At the same time, Los Angeles County records more than 75,000 unhoused people, one of the highest totals in the United States. Although the government continues to build temporary housing and expand support services, the high cost of living, mental health crisis, and drug abuse keep Skid Row as one of the clearest symbols of social inequality in America. Directly beneath the glitter of the Las Vegas Strip, there is a hidden drainage tunnel network more than 700 miles long, built to control flash flooding in the Nevada desert. For years, parts of these tunnels have become shelter for unhoused people who cannot afford housing above ground. Although home prices in Las Vegas are still lower than in Los Angeles or San Francisco, median home prices have now passed $480,000, while apartment rents have continued rising to around $1,800 per month. For people living on odd jobs or those who have lost work, that number is still hard to reach. Life inside the tunnels is also full of risk because heavy rain can turn a dry-looking channel into a flash flood within minutes. Located in northeast Philadelphia, this neighborhood has long been known as a center of the opioid and fentanyl crisis, as well as one of the areas with the highest concentrations of homelessness on the East Coast. Along Kensington Avenue and around the Market Frankford line stations, scenes of people sleeping on sidewalks, emergency tents, and individuals overdosing or under the influence of drugs often draw international media attention. Many unhoused people come to this area because it is close to health services, addiction treatment programs, and humanitarian organizations that provide food and emergency assistance. However, the high level of addiction makes many rehabilitation efforts difficult, while city cleanup operations often only move the activity to other streets around Kensington. Known as one of the most iconic beach areas in America, Venice Beach Boardwalk is visited every year by around 10 million tourists who come for the beach atmosphere, street performances, and Muscle Beach. But behind that tourism image, this area has also long been one of the most well-known points in Los Angeles' homelessness crisis. The government later carried out a major operation in 2021 that moved more than 200 people into temporary shelters and cleared most of the encampments along the boardwalk. Even so, the problem did not truly disappear. Many unhoused people moved to nearby streets around Venice, while some gradually returned to the beach area over time. As Seattle's oldest neighborhood, Pioneer Square is known for historic buildings, art galleries, restaurants, and its role as a gateway to downtown attractions and sports stadiums. But this area has also long been one of the places most affected by Seattle's homelessness crisis. Its location near shelters, soup kitchens, social service centers, and public transportation access causes many unhoused people to gather on sidewalks, in small parks, and under overpasses around the district. In recent years, Pioneer Square and SoDo have also faced rising open drug use, making homelessness even harder to address. Seattle's government has repeatedly cleared encampments and expanded support programs, but high housing costs, which are among the highest in the United States, remain a major barrier. Every year, millions of tourists crowd this area to walk along the Hollywood Walk of Fame and visit the TCL Chinese Theater. But only a few meters from the stars of celebrities, many unhoused people sleep at bus stops, in storefront corridors, and near the entrances of Hollywood/Highland and Hollywood/Vine stations. The heavy flow of tourists makes this area a common place to stay because food, money, and help from social organizations are easier to find. Behind that, Los Angeles is also facing one of the largest housing affordability crises in America. Median home prices have passed $1 million, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is around $2,800 per month. It is not surprising that Los Angeles County still records more than 75,000 unhoused people. The contrast between the luxury of the global entertainment industry and people surviving along Hollywood Boulevard makes this area one of the most ironic faces of Los Angeles. The intersection of Massachusetts Avenue and Melnia Cass Boulevard may look like an ordinary roadway, but the area known as Mass and Cass has long been the epicenter of the homelessness and fentanyl crisis on America's East Coast. Many unhoused people gather here because it is close to Boston Medical Center, shelters, and various addiction recovery programs. In recent years, the Boston government has repeatedly cleared encampments and moved emergency services to reduce the concentration of unhoused people in the area. Although the number of tents has decreased, the problem has not disappeared. Boston now has median home prices approaching $900,000, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has passed $3,000 per month, making it one of the most expensive cities in America. For many low-income residents, these conditions greatly increase the risk of losing housing. MacArthur Park has long been one of the public spaces most closely associated with the homelessness crisis in Los Angeles. Many unhoused people choose to remain in the park area and on the surrounding sidewalks. In recent years, the area has also drawn attention because of open drug use and rising crime that affect residents and local businesses. Meanwhile, the housing affordability crisis keeps getting worse. Median home prices in Los Angeles have passed $1 million, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is above $2,500 per month. With tens of thousands of unhoused people still recorded in Los Angeles County, encampment clearing operations around MacArthur Park often only move the problem to other neighborhoods. Only a few blocks from downtown Phoenix, one of the largest homeless encampments in the United States once stood. Around the Human Services campus, hundreds of tents filled Madison Street, Jefferson Street, and Jackson Street, giving the area the nickname, The Zone. Many people came here because shelters, soup kitchens, health clinics, and social organizations provided daily assistance nearby. However, Phoenix's housing affordability crisis made the situation even worse. In recent years, median home prices have risen to around $500,000, while rent for a one-bedroom apartment generally sits in the $1,500 to $1,700 per month range. As the number of residents kept growing, the area was also shadowed by drug abuse, mental health struggles, and rising safety complaints from nearby residents. Right in front of San Francisco's Grand City Hall, Civic Center Plaza shows one of the sharpest contrasts in America. On one side stand government buildings, the War Memorial Opera House, and the city's main library. But only a few steps from those buildings, sidewalks around UN Plaza, Market Street, and the Tenderloin have for years been filled with tents, personal belongings, and public drug use. Many unhoused people stay in this area because it is close to shelters, health centers, and social organizations. Ironically, all of this happens in one of the most expensive cities in America. Median home prices in San Francisco are still around 1.3 million US dollars, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is around 3,000 US dollars per month. In the past, this area was Portland's main gateway, filled with restaurants, shops, and historic 19th century buildings. Today, its image has changed sharply. Along West Burnside Street, Northwest Broadway, and around Union Station, rows of tents and long-parked RVs were once a daily sight. Many business owners said they lost customers, while some restaurants and stores chose to close because economic activity in the area declined. At the same time, high housing costs make the problem harder to solve. Median home prices in Portland are around 550,000 US dollars, while average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has passed 1,600 to 1,800 US dollars per month. Many unhoused people choose Old Town Chinatown because it is close to shelters, soup kitchens, and health services.